is the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast.
Hello, everyone. You know, it's occurred to me there's no point in saying it's that time again, since I don't know when you're listening to this. So I'll just say welcome to another edition of the Celebrity Afterlife Report, the only show on the internet that gives you the up-to-the-minute gossip about all your favorite deceased celebrities. As you should know by now, I am the celebrity medium. And if you don't know that by now, where you been? All right, with the pleasantries out of the way, let's start this shindig. We kick off this report with a blockbuster of a story. 2 weeks ago, I told you that former Earthly Plane TV talk show host / game show mogul Merv Griffin was starting a new talk show in the next world with Tammy Faye Bakker as his co-host. Tammy Faye was married to disgraced televangelist Jim Bakker on the Earthly Plane. Merv and Tammy hosted their first show late this past week, and the people in the afterlife thought it was going to be a run-of-the-mill light daytime talk show. They were in for a major shock. Prior to the show's airing, ads ran in the media announcing that their kickoff show would have a must-see surprise guest. Instead of the movie or TV star that many people assumed it would be, the guest turned out to be 9/11 mastermind Osama bin Laden. My Next World sources tell me that the studio audience was shocked into silence when Merv introduced bin Laden. My information is that even the show's orchestra members seemed stunned when bin Laden walked through the curtains and took a seat between Merv and Tammy Faye, suggesting that his appearance was a surprise even to members of the show's staff. It was noted that neither host shook hands with the terrorist, who was accompanied by a translator. Bin Laden was the only guest on the show, and over the course of the interview, he revealed that 1, he still wishes death on America. 2, he is somewhat surprised that he has not as yet received his 72 virgins, although he believes he will get them in time. And 3, although he was shocked at first to find that most people in the afterlife avoid contact with him and refuse to even speak to him, he's gotten used to it over time. Word is that while Merv was professional, if curt, during the interview, Tammy Faye seemed uncomfortable and ill at ease throughout the show and said very little. While there's been much criticism of the show for booking bin Laden, many have said they found the interview interesting and enlightening. Last week, we learned that there was turmoil backstage at the TV variety show hosted by former American President Abraham Lincoln and his new wife, actress, singer Whitney Houston. During a table read for a still-to-be-aired episode, Ms. Houston had a hissy fit when she found out that one of the sketches had her playing a slave who was freed in an allegedly comedic fashion by President Lincoln. Whitney and Abe had a locked-door meeting with the production staff, after which one of the show's writers was fired. Well, I now know that the head rolling didn't end there. Since then, 2 of the show's producers and an additional 2 writers have been unceremoniously let go as well, making the body count 5. Lincoln, Houston, and the remainder of the show's staff have been trying to put a smiley face on the incident, playing it down as just being part of the usual turnover behind the scenes of any TV show. But insiders tell a different story. According to sources familiar with what happened, not only did Whitney demand that anyone involved with writing or approving the sketch be let go, she and her husband had a loud argument about it in front of some of the remaining staffers. It seems that while she vehemently objected to the premise of the sketch, Mr. Lincoln didn't see what the problem with it was. You know, as a man of the 19th century, his views on things are somewhat different from those of a more contemporary person. He thought that the premise of freeing a woman that everyone in the next world knows is married to him was amusing. I'm told that it took over an hour for Whitney to explain to him, apparently in high volume, exactly why the sketch was offensive to her as a black woman. So bottom line, like many a husband before him, President Lincoln finally caved in to his wife's point of view. A story we haven't heard anything about in some time is that of the Shakespearian drama company, founded by Vince McMahon Sr., father of the current chairman of World Wrestling Entertainment. The troupe, which performs in a larger replica of the Bard's Globe Theater and is directed by Shakespeare himself, is notable also in that all the actors, with the exceptions of former Doors singer Jim Morrison and astronaut Neil Armstrong, are former earthly plane wrestlers. Now, there have been rumors for some time that the mercurial Morrison has been agitating behind the scenes for higher profile roles in the company's productions. Whether or not his politicking is the reason for it, I do not know, but it was just announced that the Lizard King will be playing Iago opposite retired grappler Gorilla Monsoon, who is the lead in an upcoming production of Othello. Rumor has it that Morrison campaigned relentlessly for the starring role, but Shakespeare just felt like that Monsoon turned in a better audition. The story goes that Morrison was fuming about being relegated to what he considers a supporting part until Neil Armstrong took him aside and gave him something of a pep talk, explaining that there are no small parts, just small actors. Morrison apparently got the message, and word is that he is now prepared to give his all during the show's performances. In related news, wrestler Roddy Piper, who recently transitioned to the Afterlife, has also signed up with the company. In a press release announcing his signing, Piper says, "I thought I had done it all in my career, but I never dreamed I'd be working with William Shakespeare. This is better than headlining WrestleMania," unquote. Well, we started off this report with a blockbuster story, so let's close it with another blockbuster story. Just before recording this edition of the report, I got word that apparently Charles Lindbergh, the first man to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean, is throwing in the towel on his plan to build a whites-only community in the afterlife. As I have reported over the past several months, protesters, including Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his new BFF, Adolf Hitler, have been camped outside the walls of the gated community. According to sources, the protest has finally worked. There's been no sign of workers entering or leaving the under-construction town for days, and the power to the town seems to be shut off. The protesters say they will stay at the site for a few more days, however, until they are sure Lindbergh has given up on his plan. And that is that for this edition of the Celebrity Afterlife Report. I'm going to turn off my microphone until next week, when I hope you will return for more up-to-the-minute gossip about all your favorite deceased celebrities. Between now and then, please help spread the word that the report is available for free on iTunes. I am the Celebrity Medium. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast. To ask a question about your favorite deceased celebrity, call 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-369-3732.